Well, greetings, everyone. I am Liz Geyer, and I am an advocate for the Language of Consciousness Institute, and I'm here with Beryl McCandless today, who is also an advocate for the Language of Consciousness Institute. And we've been having a long conversation about our experience with unpacking. And we wanted to have the conversation with all of you because we're now deeply in the experience of it, and we're moving into our last week of a 6-week series, and now looking forward to continuing the unpacking experience. And we've kind of been in the amazement of what has occurred since we began this work, actually in late 2022. And so I'm gonna kind of go back to what you and I were talking about the inception, I think, of unpacking, because what we have discovered is really cool. So in late November, to tell a story, I was driving on this road, and as Beryl and I were just talking, I could see the whole slideshow of what was happening, and I got this image of a sewing circle, which is, you know, women getting together and sewing. This was, I think, the image that I found of the sewing circle was probably in the 1800s, and I got this download of, wouldn't it be amazing to gather people together, to be in community, and to be writing the creation templates together, and to build this field of safety. So I got this download, and now, what is it, 4 months later, having been immersed in that field for many, many weeks, we're seeing how grounded and anchored we are now in the field of unpacking. So for those of you who might be stumbling on this for right now, on this video now, and you've not heard anything about unpacking, we started a series at the beginning of the year called The Art of Unpacking, the Creation Templates. And unpacking simply means to look more deeply at our relationships with ourselves, and or ourselves in relationship to whatever we're drawn to in our lives, and then to further find the layering and the deeper nature of what that is for us, and who we are to ourselves. And it's been quite the impact. So Beryl, you were talking about what you saw when I started to talk about getting this download and seeing this sewing circle. So see if you can recall what that was for you, because I think it's really interesting. And it's a foundational conversation here for being in the art of unpacking. So over to you.
Well, what I was present to in the beginning, you mentioned a month, and immediately it was more of a starting point, finding a marker for a starting point. And so, you know, the sentient intelligence kicked in, and it was almost like just the observer took over, and it was like November, right? And just sitting with energetically what took place in that, when you were talking about circle. And then it was the energy of sharing. And then that turned into a resonance of what was unfolding in that sharing with that group. And so then it was almost like observing as a starting point, and then moving to what was next in the next conversation, in the next conversation, the next conversation with those who decided to gather. And it was building what there was to build with what unfolded in that conversation. And the richness and the wisdom and the fascination and the curiosity that went with it was this incredible weave that supported and held us. And it stabilized something more that continued to unfold and give rise to language.
Yeah, beautifully stated. Oh my gosh. So this conversation that we're having is to have any of you who watch this video be in the consideration of joining us and being in this work together. I mean, it's amazing. In our conversation, Beryl was talking about layering, and she just showed that. There is such a deeper layering than I ever imagined in this work, that so many different layers have been uncovered and discovered in our work together. And we're really seeing the evidence now of how our individual unpacking to get to know ourselves better has now rippled out into our own individual environments and impacted so many more people than we had realized. So there's evidence of, like in my family, there are shifts being made out of kind of if you looked at it in, if you were a mouse in my pocket and you came into my home and you were, in the conversations that I've had with family members, you would be able to see that because I'm unpacking and learning more about my life, all of a sudden now there is language, common language coming up in my home of another who is not even in this field, who is now beginning to unpack their life unknowingly, right? So this was something that when I got that first image of being in a sewing circle together, that now looking in hindsight, I didn't know was a happy benefit of being in this work, that then others would awaken to their own work in their own ways. So I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
What I have found when we join together and there is a sharing going on is that there is this beautiful opportunity to be able to see yourself in another, and that beautiful weaving and sharing, and being in that crucible, if we could use that word, being held in the heat and the warmth of dialogue and seeing what rises from that, and what is available to us we are a we and an us. And somehow coming in, it's like an I, a capital I. It might have started out as a little I, but in a capital I sense, is that we become a we and an us. And we are more aware of that connection. And so when we are complete with our conversation and we go out into the daily life, then that strengthens that I, and we are able to hold that resonance and not even knowing the effects or that frequency that it holds of that conversation out to family, community. And then we come back again on the following Monday, and we have more dialogue. So that richness in that sharing, and even if one does not say a word, in that sort of sharing, just their presence, just showing up and being there for and with that conversation adds to the field also.
Yeah.
So it's just a really beautiful way of coming together, and in that curiosity, that fascination of wondering what will rise, is just so magical. And I will say the word magical.
Yes, definitely.
Definitely a magical operation.
Yeah, I'm just remembering back to the last session we all had on Monday and how profound it was to be able to sit with each other in a state that was very raw and fragile, and to feel the both and of on the one hand feeling so raw and vulnerable, and then on the other hand to be held in that and to feel the deep love of our humanity and love of our process and our willingness to be in the discomfort, of seeing what patterns are rising for us to shift. Yeah, that's magic. That is magic. So
go ahead.
No, go ahead, because you had a
just to ping. You use the word delicate. There is a strength in that. There's incredible strength in vulnerability. And I just wanted to share that even though it feels like something may be weak, for your consideration, it just might be seeing something in a way that's new for you.
Yeah.
It's just maybe new. And there's a preciousness to that.
And that preciousness is a superpower.
It certainly is. Yeah.
It is a superpower. It can that ping, that preciousness, that vulnerability is like a laser, and it can cut through anything. So this is what we're exploring, all of you out there. It's so much fun, even in the vulnerability. And the fun comes in knowing that we've got your back, and that, no matter what, you know, we talk about one for all and all for one, and we won't let you fail. We won't let you fall. No,
Mhm.
we will fail
Mhm.
and we will fall, and we'll just scoop each other up.
Yep.
Go, okay, we got this, you know, and keep going.
Right.
So my video is doing funny things. Okay,
On your end.
on my end, yes. Somebody's acknowledging us. Goodness. All right, there we go. Thank you to whoever is here with us. Yes.
Whatever is introduced into the field, I have to add, is that it's different every time.
Hmm.
But what is the same is the community, the common unity, and the deep love that just rises. And there are times when there's a lot of humor, and that humor just moves us through to the next level of what is waiting to be shared.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so much fun in
Yeah.
coming together.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That magic, yeah, the magic of the humor. I'm kind of looking at my notes because I want to make sure we get everything. I think we've pretty much talked about everything that that you know. And also that unpacking is a lifelong process,
Yes.
and that it's going to continue and continue to morph and shift, and being able to be in community as we shift and gain new perspective of ourselves in each other's company. I mean, doesn't get any better than that. So I hope that this has struck a chord in some of you, and anyone who has not been with us, we invite you to join us, because there's a never ending access point here for all of you to come into the circle and be with us and unpack and be held with each other.
Yeah. And we're looking forward to being with you.
Yeah. So the next series 2, in the art of unpacking the creation template, starts on March 13th, and that series will also go for 6 weeks. And so we look forward to seeing you all. And if you want to find where you can register for this, it's LOCinstitute.com, www.
Ooh.
Yay. All right. So thank you, Beryl, for being in conversation with me today. And we look forward to being with you all soon.
Yes.
Have a great day. Thank you.
Yes.